to Lagos. So if you wanted to move from Lagos to Abuja, you have to do it by road. That is nothing less than 8 hours by road between Lagos and Abuja. If we are able to fix some of these transportation lapses, there's a lot of opportunities. There are lots of trade opportunities. Young people can easily move. We can move, and then the issue of the West African integration becomes easier and faster.
That's right.
So the Model Ecowas Summit is a platform where we are exposing young people to some of these challenges and how young people can be involved practically in finding lasting and sustainable solutions to some of these.
Okay. So it's just a summit you organize that you have only the youth attending.
We have the youth. And then you would recall that when ECOWAS was established in 1975, it was basically what we knew as the ECOWAS of states, where all their decisions was taken at the heads of state level.
Yeah.
But some years down the line, they now wanted to reshift their focus from ECOWAS of states to now ECOWAS of people, where they now want to involve not just people-centered organization. So now it's not just government or heads of state or ministers, but they have private sector organizations, public sector organizations, young people, civil society, and any other identifiable group, which is involved in the ECOWAS decision-making process at all levels of policy formulation and implementation. So that is where we come in. We actually represent the youth in the ECOWAS decision-making process.
Okay.
And you should also understand that whenever there is an ECOWAS heads of state meeting, there is no youth representation.
Exactly.
There is no youth representation. But at the UN level, when there's a UN meeting, there is a youth representation where young people actually engage their heads of state after they have had their section.
That's right.
So
but when they go there, they do the ECOWAS meetings and summits. They do discuss issues that bother some youth.
Well, I have been looking at a couple of their communiques. I haven't seen, a lot of people know. People say when you ask them out, what is ECOWAS? There was this documentary I watched. So what is ECOWAS? I think that ECOWAS means peace. But ECOWAS does a lot of things. Issues of trade, economic integration, and then there's the political integration. But with time, because of our history of conflicts, especially across the West African sub-region, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Gambia recently, you see that ECOWAS has been much more focused on issues of peace and security across. Yes, and I agree. If we don't have issues of peace and security resolved, it means that issues of economic integration, you cannot move across the borders.
That's right. Because there was a time when there was this kind of political problem in the Gambia.
Yes.
Yeah, Jamie.
Yes, I think sometime last year.
Exactly. There were discussions that went on, and I heard one ECOWAS member actually talking about how this is affecting the youth, or how this is going to really affect the youth. They hold on to power for that long, and then when it comes to these kind of power struggles, the youth are the ones that are used. For all these things. So I'm just at a loss when you say that the ECOWAS don't actually discuss youth matters at their summits.
Well, I'm yet to see any of the communiques. Probably something that has been pointed out clearly. That this is what we have. This is actually a protocol. Yes, if you look at the ECOWAS Vision 2020 agenda, there is actually a portion that has got to do with human capital resource development, and as part of the resource development, there's a youth development which has been captioned under that, where ECOWAS want to do a series of activities to develop the capacity of young people. I think that in as much as we are focusing on issues of political integration, issues of economic integration, I think that we also need to pay much more attention to issues of young people across the ECOWAS sub-region.
That's really good. Now this is an ECOWAS something. It's for West Africa. It's for we West Africans. So how does Zimbabwe come in here? Who invited you?
Well, if I wasn't invited and welcome, you should have sent me by the airport. But anyway, it's a privilege and honor, like I said earlier, to be here for the Ecowas Summit. You can never forbid your children to go to the next door because they don't belong to that family.
Wow.
They go there because they are good values. They are good, things to take.
They want to tap.
They want to tap, and then that will make them a better person. Every person in life emulates or draws at lessons from a particular individual for them to be able to be who they are.
Okay.
And one of our, visions as young people from the SADC region, and particularly my country, Zimbabwe, that I come from, is that we are moving forward. We have emulated things that are happening here, like the third Model Ecowas Summit itself. Right. And we have said to ourselves, yes, we are planning to do our own things. We are in the process of doing our own things. But we also want to go and learn. And when we got the invitation from the executive chairperson here, we said we are definitely going. To go and take the good things, to go and learn, to go and engage.
Right.
Like I said earlier on, we are looking at Africa as a whole. Africa is a continent, it's a family. Despite location, despite region, but we are one family. And we are Africans, we belong to one Africa.
True.
So to me, it is not about regions.
That's right.
It's not about the proximity where you are coming from, but it is about the vision that you carry. You might find one child one youth in Muzaraban back there in Zimbabwe. You come to Ghana, you find one person in Accra there, and then you put those minds together. It becomes a formidable team to conquer. So I believe that what we have come here to do as a young people is that we have come to learn, we've come to participate, and we've come up with a resolution that will be able to say, as a team, this is what we are saying. Not as ECOWAS, not as SADC, but as African youth, we want things to start happening, and that change starts with us.
Beautiful. That change starts with us. Okay, so then what are we looking at? I'm always for outcomes. I'm always for results. What are we looking at the end of the day? The Model Ecowas Summit has been organized. This is the kind of thing you want to drive, the agenda you want to drive. What are you hoping to achieve at the end of the day?
Okay.
What kind of youth are you creating at the end of the day?
Okay, so if you happen to see the schedule of activities for the event, you would realize that on the...
What is it taking place anyways?
It's from the 31st of May to 2nd June.
31st May to 2nd June. Where?
This Thursday. So the 31st of May is actually a cocktail reception. Yes, and then the second day would be the West African Youth Economic Forum, where the West African Youth Forum will focus on just three things: issues of entrepreneurship and investments. The second issue would focus on agribusiness, and then the third issue we're focusing on technology and innovation. And then the third day we'll do the third edition of the Model Ecowas Summit. And we're doing all these under the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Republic of Ghana.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So one of the practical things we are looking at doing, because of the issue we are looking at, entrepreneurship and investment, agribusiness, technology and innovation.
That's right.
One of the practical things we're doing after the summit is that we are setting up a business advisory and a research services desk to help a lot of young people with great business ideas, to fine-tune them, and it's free consultancy services we are going to offer to them. So if you have any business idea, or you already have a business idea, or you intend to develop a business idea, we are going to help you through the process, and we're going to help you get funding.
And when you say we, is it a team of professionals in various fields?
Yes, this is a team of professionals.
Are they youth or
they are young
people who are young people?
Young people, yes. It may not be young people, but youth.
Okay. So we shall come to the criteria, the category, age limit. If I should look
because we realize, if we're looking at issues of regional, integration, it shouldn't be difficult for the young man who is producing, say, Sobolo here in Accra to transport them to Togo, Benin, or Nigeria.
Exactly.
But you see, the truth of the matter is that there are some issues at the border that we need to resolve.
Exactly.
Crossing the border is something, there are still some challenges.
Yeah.
Even though there have been some level of progress, but there are still some challenges. So it makes it very difficult for the regional integration, living in each other's country without any
barriers,
without any form of barrier. It's, there are some limitations for it. If we are able to resolve some of these issues, you can move with your Sobolo or whatever goods you have. You're able to transport them to Nigeria.
That's right.
And that you can term as, international trade. Because your goods are now moving from Accra, Ghana to Cotonou, Benin.
That's right.
Or Lomé in Togo.
You're an international businessman.
You are an international businessman. You don't need to export to the EU market.
True that.
You don't need to export to Canada, USA, or Mexico. Yes. So that's why, for me, I believe that one of the surest way to African unity, continental unity, is to encourage the creation of regional blocks.
Yeah.
So the West African bloc, the East African bloc, the North African bloc, and the Central African bloc. Why do I say that? I say that because I feel that the culture of all these countries is similar.
Yeah.
Take the typical Ghanaian culture and take the typical Nigerian or the Togolese or the Benin culture. You would see some level
similarities.
of similarities. So if we encourage regional integration, regional blocks, we are able to integrate properly, from the regional perspective. Then we can replicate that across all the regional blocks. Then we can push that agenda, of an Africa must unite, of a continental integration.
Beautiful.
So it is also a platform where young people, we educate them on issues of regional integration. We tell them what regional integrations are. We expose them to the challenges.
How wide is it? How many youth actually know about this, and how would they attend?
So how many youth know about it is also access to information. Information. He came from Zimbabwe. I picked him up at the airport yesterday. we are expecting a lady from Cameroon. She is coming tomorrow. There's another person coming from Ethiopia.
Based on invitation.
Based on invitation. So participation is based on invitation.
And who is eligible to attend?
Well, we are looking at young people, basically young people between the ages of 18 to 45. Well, the definition of a young person, like, just to add up to what he said, it depends on which of the definitions you are looking at, whether you are looking at the AU definition of who a young person is, or you are looking at the UN definition of who a young person is, or you are looking at the ECOWAS definition of who a young person is. But we are saying that we are looking for young people between the ages of 18 and 40.
So you are not using any model?
We are not using any model. And these people are going to represent their respective countries. What are some of the practical solutions? What are some of the challenges they face in their countries? And how can they be involved in the decision-making process? We are not looking at solutions that will last for just a century, or solutions that will last for a decade. But we are looking at sustainable solutions, solutions that can last for life,
a lifetime.
Solutions that are sustainable. These are basically some of the things that we seek to do using our platform.
That's right. Somebody would actually categorize the youth in the vulnerable class.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There isn't much impact you can make when it comes to these things. You can do all the summits you want to do. You can set up whatever you want to set up.
Yes.
From the beginning, from the scratch.
True.
But then it's like you are in the middle of, let's say, a crowd.
Yes.
You are the short one.
Yes.
Zacchaeus. And in order to let your voice be heard, or in order to be recognized or noticed, you have to climb up.
Yes.
And there are these tall people pushing you down.
True.
How do we make an impact with what we want to achieve in all of this?
Okay. As young people. First and foremost, I would like to say that as young people, we are driven to actually make sure that we are fully represented. And like you have rightfully said, that we have the marginalized, we've got the young people that are baked there in the peripherals of the different countries, and sometimes their voices are not heard. But what we have done as young people is that we have actually shifted to taking the information to them, to go to them and actually sit down with them and involve them in the planning process. Because of course it's true, we can never be able to take everyone on board and say, okay, everyone can come. But what we can do is to be able to cut across representation, and this is exactly that we are doing. And particularly speaking from where I come from Zimbabwe, in the projects that we are doing, you would find out that we are on a 1 million pet campaign. We have desisted from the issue of saying that we will just do it an event in the capital and then that's done. We are actually going to do the events right in the peripherals, where you have to drive 400 kilometers outside the CBD, where there is no roads, where you have to walk full 10 kilometers because there is no road. It's because we have made it our mandate to say that there are those young people that are back there.
That's right.
And they inform, they are part of us. They inform the decision making. Because if I'm seated here, if I'm drinking nice water, if I'm dressed nicely, if I'm walking there, I'll never be able to relate to what one guy down there in the back of the town is experiencing. So I have to be in it for me to know it. So this is exactly what we've done. But we have also, however, castigated the issue of violence, the issue of, you know, uninformed decision making by young people. Some young people across the continents who try to persuade or push their agendas through violence or through unnecessary demonstrations. So we've castigated all kind of tendencies of sporadic activities by young people.
How do you do this?
We have always encouraged young people to come forth. This is one example. Coming up with summits. That where we come and then we put down to table. We say, guys, this is the guidelines of what we want to do. And we have always encouraged that we are not for violence, but we are for advocates.
That's right.
So this is why I was saying to you that would you choose a child that will just demonstrate at the house and say we're not doing this thing? Or you actually be supportive of a child that will come and say, Father, I'm of the opinion that if we do this thing will be very effective. So this is the route that we have taken. And thanks to also the third Model Ecowas Summit, which is also doing this. This is why I was saying to you earlier on that this is the reason why we'll keep on having these conferences. We can never stop them because we need to have a platform where we're able to table things so that even when we take it up, it's in a structured way. So in other words, the marginalized, this is the way that we're able to encompass and engulf them in the decision-making process.
Beautiful. So then from what he's saying, they are taking action, actually, moving from sitting in their air-conditioned offices, taking drinks and having cocktails, like you said, will be the beginning of the summit. So what's the action plan after the summit?
So just like I indicated, the action plan is that we are coming up with a resolution, communicates, and I've told a number of the participants I've had in that the resolutions that we're going to come up with, we're not going to present them to government.
Okay.
We're not. We're presenting them to ourselves. Let's take the practical steps to implement the recommendations as contained in the resolution. So the action plan is that we are starting from ourselves.
Beautiful.
That is it. We are not looking at government. Yes, government has a role to play. But also understand that government has a number of other responsibilities.
That's right.
And if you want to wait on government, then you would have to wait for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Because the resources that the government has, the resources government will say they are limited. Yes, resources are limited. Government has a role to play, like I've indicated.
That's right.
As a young people, we also have a role to play.
Exactly.
So the action plan is that we as young people, we are going to implement the recommendations as is going to be contained in whatever resolutions we come up with.
Beautiful.
We are not looking at government.
Beautiful.
If government wants to partner us, fine.
That's right. I love that spirit about you know, for the youth, by the youth, and with the youth inside. Wow, I mean, it's so lovely.
Yes.
Is this feasible?
It is. It is feasible, and it is practical. But the practicality starts within ourselves. It is with us. All these, elders that have gone ahead of us, they were youth before. That's the beauty of life. Everyone passes through that phase.
That's right.
So they know exactly what we are going through.
That's right.
Where they are ever right now. So this is practical because they have been there. They relate with that. And so to us it is practical, but it takes us, like what David has just said, it takes us because it's incumbent to us to say, guys, we want to move forward, but we cannot be able to be pestering the government or these other organizations, the AU and the United Nations, when you have not taken a step further. It's just like a builder. It's just like someone building a house. You can't come to my house and say, may I have some money because I want to build my house. I'll say, what have you done before?
That's right.
Then you tell me nothing.
Experience.
I will not work with you. But if someone comes and say, I'm at ground level, I have put my slab, I'm at window level, I'm ready to so this is why I'm saying that it is achievable, but it needs us as the young people themselves to come together and say, we are together now.
That's right.
Guys, we are Africa and we're moving forward.
That's
and
right.
anyone else that has the same vision, that buys into the same vision, is ready to join the journey because they have seen a vision, they have seen where you're going, you see. So basically it is practical to us, but it takes, you know, the commitment, the full commitment of young people themselves to position themselves, to give themselves in for the economic development of Africa itself.
Right.
Because this Africa is ours.
That's right.
And you know, we don't live twice. Tomorrow, later on, after the youth, we're going to be asking questions. What have we done in our time
Exactly.
to participate, to contribute to the emancipation of African development?
That's right.
You see, just like what he was rightfully saying, as Africans, we are proud of who we are. You know, in Europe, they watch films from Ghana, they watch films from Nigeria.
That's right.
We have become popular because of the culture that we believe in.
That's right.
So we have a sense of identity where we are coming from. So it is very much achievable as long as we remember that we are Africans and we are for it and we are ready to do this.
Beautiful, beautiful. So then, how do we unite?
How do we unite?
The youth.
How do we unite?
To fight for this common cause.
One of the ways we can unite is the creation of this some of these similar platforms.
Yes.
And you know, like you said, you remember,
Not everybody can attend. So how do you know that this is a correct representation of your target audience?
so he represents his organization, the Zimbabwe Youth Ambassadors. I'm sure that whatever issues will be tabled, whatever issues will be discussed, he would relay that information to the number of young people he works with. It's the same for other people coming from Cameroon, other people coming from Ethiopia, and other people coming from the entire West African countries. Yet we cannot have the entire youth in the the whole of Africa to come to Accra.
That's right.
But we have their representatives. They come and they carry the information back to them. That's why we create some of these platforms. And ever since the inception of the United Nations, they have never stopped having summits. Since the inception of the AU,
Exactly.
they have never stopped having summits because it presents a platform where they discuss issues.
That's right.
Find common
You all
ground
meet
and find solutions. So it's basically the same thing we're doing.
That's right.
We're creating a platform where young people meet, representatives of young people meet, but discuss issues. We come up with clear-cut roadmaps, action plans.
That's right.
Then we carry it back to to our various communities and then implement them so that we are not just impacting ourselves, but we are impacting our society, we are impacting our community, and we are impacting members of people within our communities.
Beautiful. We've got just 5 minutes to wrap up right now. You are a journalist. Which network do you work with?
Okay, so I work with the National State Broadcaster of Zimbabwe.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but I come here in the capacity of the union.
I know. I just brought it in just as a side. I brought it in because I like to ask this question about the media's involvement in all of this.
Yes.
How do you think the media should be involved?
The media is critical and key. I should say the media is the first stepping stone in terms of pushing the agenda forward. Just 2 weeks before I came to Accra, I attended a UNESCO 2005 convention launch on cultural diversity. You would actually see that the media, we are unpacking the role of media in the in that agenda of cultural diversity. So the media plays a critical role because it is it is the face of everything that is, of every agenda. The media is there to inform, the media is there to educate, the media is there to entertain. So we are able to inform, entertain, and educate at the same time by being able to embed this issue of youth participation whenever we do this program.
That's right.
So I take this task to all the journalists and all the media houses, including yourself, to say, guys, this is the mandate that we have as young people.
That's right.
What are we going to do about it? We need to spread the message, we need to push the message. Social media has become so much expeditious to the extent that you find pictures of everything on social media.
Everything.
But I'm giving it up to you guys and say, let's inform, let's educate, and let's entertain these masses, informing them about the importance of pushing youth participation in economic development.
That's right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Your final words, David.
Yes, Jonathan, my final word. I think that just like you rightly said, platforms like your show is there to tell the whole world and educate them on some current issues. Not just happening in Ghana, it's not Africa, but globally.
That's right.
Yes, and we feel that the media has a role to play when it comes to issues of youth development. And platforms like this, the young people come and then they share their view, they organize events like we do, and the media carry, because without the media, whatever you're doing, it's like you are in a room with your wife. Whatever goes on there, once there are no cameras there.
That's right. Nobody knows.
Yes, but once there are cameras in there, everybody knows. So if we are having a summit and then we do not have the media there, then it means that our voices and our stories will not be heard. But the media is there, like GBC to say, 24.
That's right.
To help disseminate the information for others to, know what it is.
So we always say that when you have such events and stuff like that, partner with the media. Let's get these things rolled out. Most of them don't get the media involved, and they always say that it's going to be expensive publicity and partnership and all of that. But come and let's partner, because we are all looking towards a positive agenda, right? Achieving a positive agenda. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being in the studios with us.
Thank you so much.
And I believe you're enjoying Ghana.
Yes, I'm enjoying this today.
Okay. So Ghana is hosting the 3rd Model Ecowas Summit that is happening from the 31st of May to the 2nd of June. From 31st May to the 2nd of June, where?
Okay, so for the 31st, it's a cocktail reception. We're doing it as a bus for us in Laboni opposite coffee shop.
Okay.
And then the second day will be the West African Youth Economic Forum, which we're doing at the Christ the King, which is opposite the Jubilee House.
That's right.
And then the third day would be at the Accra International Conference Center.
That's right. That's a big day itself.
That's a big day.
That's 2nd June, 2018. Honorable, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
I've been talking to Abiel, the man in suit, Abiel Mawere, who is the founder and chairperson of the Zimbabwe Young Ambassadors, who is here for the 3rd Model Ecowas Summit. And then also David Osabute, who is the executive chairman of the Model Ecowas Summit. The youth of Africa are the backbone of the development of the continent, and we should rally together, not to fight, not to perpetrate violence or anything, but then positively come